Here's Joe Schoen talking about the search for a head coach that could land with a guy who's instrumental in taking a raw talent like Josh Allen and shaping him into the quarterback that he is. Maybe Brian Daboll will be asked to do that with Daniel Jones. Let's listen carefully to what Joe Schoen had to say about the search for a head coach.
Yeah, all of our candidates bring, a different skill set to the table. So I'm not concerned if they've been a head coach before or if they haven't. I'm concerned with getting the best head coach for the New York Giants. So if they've got previous coaching experience, fine. If they don't, that's fine. Again, it's going to be imperative somebody that's in lockstep with me that I can work with. We can have constant communication, and we're going to be aligned in our vision, as we build the football team.
Awesome. Agree with it 1,000,000%. I wrote about that earlier today. For the Bears and Ryan Poles, the Vikings and Kwesi Adofo-Mensah, and the Giants and Joe Schoen, let your GM hire the coach that he admires, trusts, respects, and likes. It's your most important relationship in the building, other than maybe head coach and quarterback. GM and coach got to be on the same page. And the coach has to be somebody who will trust the GM implicitly, not to, for example, when things are going rough, and they inevitably will. They're going to lose games. They're going to go through rough stretches. The coach needs to be able to focus on coaching the team and not wondering, what's Joe saying to John up in the luxury suite about all the talent Joe's put together and how the coach is screwing it all up. That's why I'm a big believer in everyone having equal accountability. I've been using the three-legged race metaphor throughout the day. It's the old picnic game. You got to tie a leg together, right leg, left leg, of two different people, and you got to run. And if you fall, you both fall, and you're both out. So let the GM hire somebody that he believes he can have that relationship with. Don't have ownership involved. If you don't trust the GM to hire the coach, then you hired the wrong GM. Your goal should be hire a GM that you completely trust to hire the coach and let the GM do that. And if it fails, right, he's staking his job on it. Joe Schoen's got to stake his job on it. I'm hiring the right coach. And if it doesn't work, I'm willing to walk out the door. Let me do it. And that would be the best way for the Giants, Bears, and Vikings to handle their head coach searches going forward, Myles.
Well, right. I mean, he used the term lockstep, which I think is basically the same thing that you're saying with the three-legged race, right? Everybody has to be going in the same direction. And you also have to speak the same language, and you have to be able to understand what it is that a coach wants at each position so that you can then go tell the scouts, hey, this is exactly what we're looking for. And then that's how programs get built, right? That's how teams get successful guys that come in the 5th round, 6th round, 7th round of the draft, undrafted free agents, because they have a specific set of skills that the team is looking for. And then the team brings that guy in, and then that guy flourishes there. So when you don't have guys who are on that same page, and you don't have guys that aren't in lockstep, you have guys that aren't in lockstep, easy for me to say, then that's exactly where things get screwed up. So, I mean, for what we were just talking about, right, with Daniel Jones and then now the New York Giants, I feel like Brian Daboll kind of fits that bill of somebody who Joe Schoen knows because he worked in the same building with him. Right? He's probably already experienced, hey, this is what it looks like when it's right at this position and at that position and at another position on the offensive scheme. And we also know that Daboll has experience in bringing up a young QB in Josh Allen. So I think that makes a lot of sense for the New York Giants if Daboll's interested in that job.
Hey, you made a great point there. It's so much more than just the quarterback, let me finish. The coach and the GM getting along is critical, and it's not just the quarterback. It's all across the roster, and there have been occasions over the years where you will have a GM that will acquire players and the coach will put them at the bottom of the roster, at the end of the bench. Players to whom significant money is being paid, the coach just won't use them. And the best example I can think of that, and it actually leads back to the New York Giants in a weird sort of way. When A.J. Smith was the GM of the Chargers and Marty Schottenheimer was the head coach, they hated each other. And A.J. Smith would do things that Marty Schottenheimer didn't even know was happening, like trade Cleo Lemon, backup quarterback that they kind of liked, trade him without even consulting with Schottenheimer to the Miami Dolphins. That's the kind of dysfunction that was there. And that's why, ultimately, when Eli Manning visited prior to the 2004 draft, he sensed that dysfunction. He wasn't sure that the organization was on the same page about him. And I think it was A.J. Smith wanted him and Marty Schottenheimer didn't. I think that's the vibe he got. But that's when Dad ran interference, and Archie was the one who came out and publicly said Eli doesn't want to play for the Chargers. And it wasn't anything against San Diego. It wasn't any type of power play to get to a certain spot. Eli felt uncomfortable. And Eli felt like he was going to be caught in the middle of this dysfunction between the GM and the head coach. And one thing leads to another, and Eli Manning becomes a Hall of Fame quarterback with the New York Giants. But if you don't, and so my point is this, that dysfunction, if it exists between GM and head coach, affects the team in many ways, tangible and intangible, up to and including possibly causing a franchise quarterback to say, I'm not getting in the middle of this crap.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and that's, I think, it's something that guys should take into account, especially when they're coming into the league, right? What kind of power do you have? What kind of leverage do you have? You kind of wonder, man, if Trevor Lawrence had done something like that, before he got to Jacksonville, where would the Jaguars be now? Because in theory, he probably should have, especially given the disaster of a rookie season that he had with Urban Meyer there as head coach.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And let me tell you, we'll have time to talk about it as the draft gets closer. It really is something that more young quarterbacks should do, because where you land as a rookie quarterback can potentially destroy your career, and that is not hyperbole. It can destroy your career if you have a revolving door of coaches and general managers and offensive coordinators and playbooks and teammates, and you never have good teammates around you. You never get off the ground. And it's not like you have 5 years to figure it out. You're going to get thrown out. Maybe the best thing the Giants have done through all of this is committed to giving it one last try with Daniel Jones, with a coach who will come in and direct him and groom him and get the most out of him. And if Brian Daboll can do for Daniel Jones what he did for Josh Allen, because Allen was raw. We didn't know that Allen could do all the things he does. Allen has been beyond all expectations. Jones has been below all expectations, and they have a chance to make it happen.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.